Well, hey everybody, I'm John Ritland, and this is my top 25 favorite men's wrestlers of 2019 list. The women's side will come up here in a little bit, and unlike my top 20 least favorite wrestlers of 2019 list, link up here if you have not checked that out, this was really difficult to fill out. Because I watch NWA, AEW, WWE, NXT, and New Japan, it would be impossible for me to even do a top 50 and include every single wrestler that I enjoy. And I was going to do a top 20, and I'm like, I need to expand it to a top 25. I need to give the proper love and respect and admiration to more talents. And I did the same for the women's list. So I'm going to do some honorable mentions here, and if your favorite isn't on here, please gut me in the comments, but remember, it is just my opinion. And even the honorable mentions don't cover every single wrestler that I'm a fan of. Obviously, Jushin Thunder Liger, it's his last full year in wrestling. He is going to be done in a few weeks, and I am certainly not ready for his retirement. Toa Henare, who I think has really improved in New Japan this year, and I can't wait to see what 2020 brings him. New Day, Kofi Kingston, he was WWE Champion for almost 6 months. That is impressive. Big E's entertaining, and Xavier Woods is also a great addition to the team. Kyle O'Reilly, who is fantastic. He's great. So is Bobby Fish. Hiroki Goto, Johnny Gargano, Dominik Dijakovic, Roderick Strong, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi is still great, even though he is diminished at this point. And Shaft. And the reason I'm including Shaft is, of all the wrestlers I've seen at independent wrestling shows, he is the one I gravitated towards the most because I just think he's awesome. He's a great powerhouse. He's, very agile. Really, really nice guy, too. If you're ever at 5 Northwest Wrestling shows, Shaft is awesome. And also Shane Swerve Strickland, Isaiah Swerve Scott now. He's also great, and Kushida, and there's a whole bunch of others. But that being said, I can't include everybody in the honorable mentions, or we'll be here all day. So let's start off with number 25, MJF, because it's not all about wrestling ability. To me, he is one of the best heels in wrestling today. One of the best. Now, it's arguable that he is the best according to some. Some don't even think he's top 5, and that's totally fair. I think his promos are great. Now, do they boil down to basically cutting down the fans and doing it and gaining it for cheap heat? Sure. But I think he does it in such a way that he's able to be so condescending, he's able to get his ass kicked, and is still able to keep his heat. And that's a rare thing, especially in this day and age. Is his wrestling ability, okay, that match with Adam Hangman Page, thanks Derb, thanks for that, maybe wasn't all that great, but he is still good in the ring with his facial expressions and with how he can sell and how he can still keep his heat. He is absolutely great. He is really, really great. And I know, yes, I use insider terms. I'm a wrestling fan. I've listened to a few too many podcasts. I'm sorry, but MJF is just great at getting the crowd to hate him. You just hate him. And I saw him at a couple Defy Northwest Wrestling shows last year. I knew he was going to be something big. I had to give him a shout on here. Number 24, Sonata. I want Sonata to be a lot higher on this list because Sonata's great. He is. He was involved in 2 of my favorite matches of the year, both against Okada. New Japan Cup Finals and in the G1 Climax 29 tournament. But he does coast pretty often. Now, him and Evil are an incredible tag team. And I'm not even trying to knock Sonata when I say that he coasts, but that's the thing about the ones that are really, really goddamn good. He's able to, and he's able to make it look easy. He's able to make it look effortless. Now, I hope 2020 is a breakout year for him, and he can do pretty well in the G1, maybe even win the New Japan Cup. Who the fuck knows? But Sonata is absolutely great. You could watch him all day. You could watch a lot of his matches and never get tired of watching them because even if he does some stuff the same, every wrestler's got a set routine, he can find variations to do the skull end or do the Muda moonsault and do other stuff. He just is able to vary up his offense when he wants to. When he is motivated, he can put on an incredible match. And then we get to number 23, Andrade. Andrade should have had a championship sometime this year. And I don't know why he didn't. He's really tremendous. He always goes out there and has an incredible match. Even if it's just a TV match, a get-over match, he can always do different things, showcase just how, much experience he's had in Mexico, in New Japan, and bring it from, even from the time he had in NXT to the main roster and just, light up the goddamn, Raw programming whenever he's on there. And him and Zelina, great duo. Also give a shout to Aleister Black, though. Aleister Black, while being one of my favorites, I'm not going to put him on here, but I am just going to throw a little bit of a shot in there because he is great whenever you get a chance to see him. Same with Buddy Murphy. Now we move on to number 22, Finn Balor. Hadn't been for this heel turn that he had in, this lone wolf heel turn thing that he had in NXT, Finn Balor wouldn't have even been on the list. But he looks motivated. The Prince is back. His future is his past, and he had a great match with Matt Riddle. He's just seemed so motivated to show just what kind of performer he can be. And if you think about it, he's near 40 and he's still able to go out there and just do everything despite all the bumps and bruises and all the work in New Japan and on the indies before and everything. He has fought through injuries. He's continued to improve, and this heel turn has absolutely added a fresh coat of paint to him. So it's great. It's fucking great to see, and Finn Balor deserves a mention on here. And hopefully he'll be NXT champion again. Or maybe they put him back on the main roster and he goes to SmackDown and becomes WWE champion, or Universal champion in this case. It's a shame that he had to go back to NXT for people to remember, or at least the vast majority, people in the company remember, holy crap, Finn Balor's actually really fucking good. Number 21, Zack Sabre Jr. Now, I haven't been able to watch all of World Tag League, but I have seen enough of Zack Sabre Jr. and Tai Chi as a team. Keep them as a team. They are very, very good. Zack Sabre Jr. has had a pretty damn good year as well. Had a great run in the New Japan Cup, almost repeated as winner. Decent run in the G1, not a great run. He did have that feud with Tanahashi over the British Heavyweight Championship from Red Pro. And he's just fucking great to watch. I know that his style's not everybody's cup of tea, but my God, Zack Sabre Jr. is just fucking tremendous. He is so goddamn good in the ring. Tell me he's not really, really good. And then I'll tell you you're wrong. I'm kidding. If you guys don't like Zack Sabre Jr., that's fine. But you can't deny just how skilled he is in the ring. And I'm so glad he did not sign with WWE a few years ago. Do you imagine what would have happened? We wouldn't possibly be getting Sabre Goon a little bit later, because I think that's what's going to happen. Even if Noro Suzuki doesn't leave New Japan, don't worry, he's going to get mentioned here a little bit later. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to take over the group, and it's going to be pretty damn interesting. So, just a little bit of a prediction there. Oh, number 20, Noro Suzuki. I don't care that he's 51 or 52. I don't care that he has been wrestling for 31 years, and that sure, maybe sometimes the way he takes some bumps, it's pretty obvious he's mostly protecting himself because as, hard-headed and as tough as he is still a human being. I'm not going to tell him he's a human being because I don't want to die, and the guy scares me. Now, he had that match at King of Pro Wrestling against Jushin Thunder Liger when Liger was Battle Liger, not Kishin Liger, which was pretty interesting. Don't know why they only did that thing once, but Minoru Suzuki, just watching him anytime, it didn't matter. When he was on the undercard for the G1 Climax tournament, feeling left out, and that was very disappointing. I wanted to see Minoru Suzuki in the G1, even if he only would have gotten a few victories. Still would have been some entertaining matches. But hey, Minoru Suzuki, if he decides to leave and go to Pro Wrestling Noah, and if he gets some American bookings, before winding down his career, okay. I still hope he stays in New Japan, but I gotta throw him on here because mainly I don't want to die. But also, Minoru Suzuki is just, he's incredible. He's fucking incredible. Like, what do you want me to say? And throwing out this, Tommaso Ciampa at number 19. And the fact that Tommaso Ciampa returned from a neck injury so ahead of schedule, even if maybe WWE fluffed it up, who the hell knows? Tommaso Ciampa's a goddamn machine. It's great to see him back. I don't think he's got more than a couple years left, and I think even he has admitted that. But it's going to be a hell of a ride, and it's going to be great to see him wrestle. And you can tell he loves it, and he wants to stay in NXT. And you don't blame him because he's treated like a star there. He'd get lost in the pile on Raw or SmackDown, or at least Raw. But he's absolutely great. Number 18, Volta. And yeah, I know that some people don't like, it being said as Walter. They prefer Walter. That's fine. Pronounce it either way. He ended Pete Dunne's, NXT UK Championship run after like 685 days, if I recall correctly. And why wouldn't he be on here? Like, seriously, why would he not be on here? He's great to watch. I've seen him live, saw him last year, and actually it was against Shaft, where Walter chopped him and Shaft no-sold a couple of them. I don't know how, and I'm sure they hurt like hell, but seeing Walter, just anytime you see him in the ring, it's an experience. Of course, until you get to Survivor Series, and then Vince McMahon had him eliminated right away. That was stupid. I'm still mad about that. But it is what it is. eliminated by Drew McIntyre, who also deserves a mention as being really good, just despite not really getting all that much. And now I'm going to throw out one other, Tama Tonga. So it's 25-ish. Let's just call it that. My rules, my list. Deal with it, people. Tama Tonga deserves a mention. Great tag team worker. Great worker in general. And really, he does come across like a badass, but apparently comes across like a really nice guy. I get a chance to meet him at the Defy shows that I went to that he was part of, which is a shame. I would like to have met him, but it is what it is. Great to see him live, though. Now, we move on back to the list. Cody Rhodes. Yes, if I would have thought that Cody Rhodes would have been on my list at this time last year, if I would have said, oh yeah, at the end of 2019, Cody Rhodes would be on my favorite wrestlers of 2019 list, I would have called myself insane. Not that Cody Rhodes is bad. Not at all. Cody Rhodes is quite good. I don't know if Cody Rhodes is as good as he thinks he is, but he definitely has made AEW programming must-see, at least the segments he's involved in. He is quite good. Anything he has done has really turned to gold. The whole I need my older brother line, which if that didn't tug at your heartstrings, I don't know what did, no matter how forced or how crazy or anything. But Cody Rhodes has been involved in a lot of great matches. He was involved in, some good stuff at Full Gear and on AEW Dynamite, in any of the pay-per-views leading up to the debut of Dynamite. He has been treated like a star while also getting others over. Like number 16, Darby Allen. I love Darby Allen. Met him a few times. And so maybe this is a little bit of bias, but Darby Allen deserves a mention. Why? Because he's incredible in the ring and he's great to watch. Now, I don't know how in the hell he's going to be walking by the time he's 30 or 35 with the bumps that he takes, the coffin drops and all that stuff. But by God, if he isn't great to watch, and let me tell you, how hard you see him perform on TV, it's just as hard. He performs just that hard on the indies. It's great. It's really great. He loves wrestling. He just loves entertaining. He loves, I don't know if he loves pain, but he sure loves, giving the most impact to him and his opponents, no matter what match. Saw a great match between him and Shane Strickland, Isaiah Swerve Scott, just before Swerve went to NXT, and that was a great match. And it's just great. By the way, support your local indies, really. You never know who the hell you're going to get to see. But Darby Allin, getting to see him was a revelation. I'd heard the name before, and I knew he was from Seattle. But until last year, I had not seen Darby Allin, a Darby Allin match. And now I'm hooked. Anytime Darby Allin is on AEW TV, I'm in. If I manage to find in a search like a Darby Allin match from, an independent promotion or like from anywhere, I will watch it because Darby Allin is that interesting. He's intriguing. If you haven't seen his interview with, I believe, Chris Van Vliet, please check that, or I don't know how you say that guy's name. Check it out. It is really good. Now we get to number 15, Shingo Takagi. Really could put all of LIJ here, to be honest. But Shingo, great this year. I mean, he was incredible, involved in one of my favorite matches of the year against Will Ospreay, Best of Super Juniors Finals. And his performances in the G1, he did pretty goddamn well. Great match against Goto. Great match against Ishii, easy for me to say. Shingo, great. He was, of course, a junior heavyweight. Now he's a heavyweight. I mean, it's pretty obvious he was going to move up to, heavyweight pretty soon. But he's just great to watch. He really is a hard hitter, very fast, and just a total package. And the way he looks like he hits with such force. It's just great to watch him wrestle, whether it's tag teams or otherwise. Number 14, Pac. And come on, why the fuck am I not going to put Pac on here? He has this look like he just hates everybody. Everybody's beneath him. He gets in the ring. With the body mass that he has for his size, him being able to do all those moves and just land in picture perfect and just look so effortless and just hit those kicks, but make the high flying offense where it's like, okay, it's spectacular, but he's doing it for impact. He's not doing it to show off for the fans. I'm just so glad to see him as a heel. I know he was a heel for, just about a year in WWE before he left, understandably. But watching Pac in AEW, he just looks motivated. And watching Pac in general, when he was back on the indies, he just looked so goddamn ready to just prove that the biggest commercially successful company in the world fucked up. And Pac has been great on AEW TV. He suffered a couple losses. I don't necessarily know if I would have had him suffer, but hey, he's great. And then we get to number 13, Mustafa Ali. People are like, oh, what would have been if he hadn't gotten injured and he had gotten the Kofi Kingston spot and everything? And if you think that Mustafa Ali would have been given the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35, I got news for you. I don't think so. And I love Mustafa Ali. I'm not saying I didn't want to see it. I would love to see it. But I don't think there's a chance that Vince would have given him the title. Not at all. That being said, it would have been interesting to see, but it would have been very deflating because Daniel Bryan would have beat him. Watch me be proven wrong. I was proven wrong when Kofi won, but Mustafa Ali, whenever you get to see him, what can you expect? Anything except other than spectacular offense? And no, I'm stumbling over my words a lot, but you can expect nothing more than spectacular offense. And obviously just this guy, you have to watch him. From his entrance to just, to the kicks, the flips. He can do all this stuff, but he can make it look good. He's not just making it look like it's all choreographed, which at this point, all the flips and that kind of stuff, it's hard not to make it look choreographed. He can make it look legit, and he's just that skilled in his backstory and his build-up and everything. And hopefully it's going to mean a great 2019. It should, because he fucking deserves it. And so do a lot of these talents. I'm not even talents I haven't listed on this list. There are so many talents that deserve to be used better by all companies, and hopefully they will be. But Mustafa Ali is somebody I would definitely push next year. And going back to an earlier point, I'm not saying I wouldn't have wanted him to be, to be WWE champion. I would love to have seen it. I just didn't think that there was any chance that Vince McMahon would have done it. But if I'm wrong, hey, let me know in the comments. So we move on to number 12, Tetsuya Naito. I really hope by this time next month, Naito is a double champion. IWGP Intercontinental Champion and IWGP Heavyweight Champion. To kind of right the wrong of Wrestle Kingdom 12, or at least, him being heavyweight champion again. Because I fear that if they give it to anybody, they're not going to give it to Okada. If Okada ends up with a double champion, then as a double champion, that's going to, I think, almost hurt. Kota Ibushi, I would accept. Kota Ibushi will get mentioned a little bit later on this. Jay White, I don't think the fans would accept it. But that's just a little bit of fancy booking there. But Tetsuya Naito, the crowd reactions he gets anytime he comes out from the Japanese crowds, even the American crowds, that he performs in front of. The guy's super over. He's great in the ring. He can, he's supposed to be like, I think he's supposed to be like a tweener, but he's so damn likable in his unlikableness, if that even makes sense, excuse me, that Naito will just get these incredible reactions and have these really, really good matches. And he can pull out that Destino, swinging DDT out of anywhere, from out of nowhere, and just turn, so many good matches into great ones. And that's what he's done, and it's been great to see. Because Naito is very, very, very fun to watch and very incredible in the ring. Excuse me. Sorry. Dealing with a bit of allergies from the weather change. But anyway, so now we get on to number 11, Kevin Owens. It was hard not to put Kevin Owens in the top 10. I had my reasons, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. Kevin Owens, anything you give him. Now, that heel turn when he turned on New Day, I didn't necessarily care for. I think that was like a bit of a desperation thing. They still didn't need to do it, but it was what it was. Because at that point, and even now, fans don't want to boo Kevin Owens. Even though he can be a great heel, he really can be. We know so much about him being such a good guy off camera. The stuff he's done for fans, how great of a family man he is, and all that. It's impossible to boo him. It is impossible to boo Kevin Owens, and that's part of the reason why he's on here. But also because he's great in the ring. That stuff with Shane, I mean, let's be perfectly honest. That feud with Shane was not really all that good. Excuse me. That feud with Shane was not really all that good. It was stop-start. It should have ended at SummerSlam. It didn't, and it was pretty shit. But that helped at least, keep Owens on TV, and now he's doing this stuff where, just recently he ran down Lana. It's like no one cares. He's just screaming at her, and it's like, you're going to let me talk? Okay, please tell me. I'm on the edge of my seat. His mic skills, his in-ring ability. Sure, he's probably not going to wrestle much past the length of this coming contract, which is, 5 years? But then he can transition to commentary. He can do a lot of stuff. He can contribute to wrestling in general for another 20 years, if he really wants to. He can be great on commentary because he's a great talker. I love Kevin Owens. Now, number 10, Nick Aldis, the current NWA champion, at least as of recording this video. I'm recording this a week before Into the Fire, which if you haven't ordered the NWA Into the Fire pay-per-view, order it today if you're watching it, and you get it on Fight TV, you get it for $19.99, otherwise it's $24.95. Anyway, I'm not getting paid for that, but whatever. So, Nick Aldis is a great wrestler. He was great in TNA, Impact. He's been great in the NWA. He's been great in general. He's one of the best NWA champions, at least, I would say, since the 80s. And I know by the 90s, the NWA Championship had fallen by the wayside, but it still meant something in the 80s, and I would put him up there. He carries himself like a world champion. He talks like a world champion. He respects the prestige of it, and will put on the classic matches, can go out there and back it up in the ring. His matches with Tim Storm were incredible. His match with Cody won it all in, and then at the NWA 70th anniversary show, the match that Nick Aldis had against Marty Scurll at the Crockett Cup, that was great. And now this upcoming match he's going to have with James Storm, like he's really, really good, and I got to give a shout here to Nick Aldis. He's just really, really good. And then we go to number 9. Bit of a controversial one here because I'm putting two guys here. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Because Tyler Bate is amazing. Had a great match with Walter. 45-minute match at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. And Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne. He had that match with Walter at TakeOver New York. And has still been great on regular NXT TV since. Just, they're both great. And they're both in their early 20s. I mean, what the fuck? Sky's the goddamn limit. And I'm not talking about the Sasha Banks song. They are really going to be fucking great for years and years and years, provided they don't get injured, provided injuries don't bite them, or they don't decide to just leave wrestling for whatever reason. Both Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are going to be great. Number 8, Kota Ibushi. He won the G129 tournament. I mean, come on, right there, like he deserves a mention right there. Now, him being kicked out knocked out of the New Japan Cup so quickly was shocking. And then he had a series of matches with Tetsuya Naito, G1 in the New Japan Cup, and then G1 Supercard, and then at Dominion in Osaka. Kota, stop hating your neck, please. We want to see you either be a double champion or, for the love of God, at least live long enough to be a double champion. Good Lord. But Kota Ibushi's great. He's really, really great to watch in the ring. And when he gets serious, when he turns on this serious face, holy fuck, you know things are about to go down. He can kick hard, he can hit hard, and he can really pull out some great matches. Him and Jay White had a great match at the G1 Climax 29 Finals. And Kota had some good matches there, good to great matches in general in that tournament. He's been great. It's been a great year for Kota Ibushi. Now move on to number 7. Keith Lee, who was kind of falling by the wayside for a number of months on NXT TV, but has really risen up the last number of months, especially since, about TakeOver Toronto 2, around that time, because, NXT was going to get on USA, and they were featuring him more and stuff like that, series of matches with Dominik Dijakovic. Keith Lee, of course I mentioned Dijakovic earlier in my honorable mentions. Keith Lee is just great. And the reason he's great is because for a guy that big, he shouldn't even be able to do a quarter of the things that he can do. It's just physics and all that and everything, but he can do it. He has that charisma that makes you want to watch him. Now, maybe he needs to work a little bit more on his promos, but he doesn't even need to be the type to really talk all that much. He can let his in-ring ability speak for itself. And I will say that he had a great showing at TakeOver War Games and also at Survivor Series. Even though I was down on it initially, I got why they did what they did. But yeah, Keith Lee deserves to be number 7. Number 6, Daniel Bryan. He fought to get that match with Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania 35, or he pushed for it. Great for him. He had a great run as champion from November of 2018 to WrestleMania earlier this year. So, about a 5-month run almost. Well, yeah, about a 5-month run. He had some good. He tried to turn the storyline with Roman Reigns getting attacked, and with Eric Rowan by his side, he was trying to turn that into gold, and he tried. Didn't necessarily work, but he did try. But Daniel Bryan can make just about anything work. He's working this feud with The Fiend, and he's going to be working this feud with The Miz. We're probably going to get The Miz versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. At least that's my guess. But Daniel Bryan has had a career year. Now, I don't think beyond next year he's going to wrestle much. In fact, I would be very surprised if by, say, WrestleMania 37, he doesn't hang it up. Because as good as he is, as great as he is, and he has been, I think that he wants to leave by a time, or, stop wrestling as much by the time he's 40, and that would be right around that time. But Daniel Bryan's been great, and he just is out of the top 5, because number 5 is Adam Cole, baby. Why would Adam Cole not be here? Really, I would love to know in the comments why Adam Cole wouldn't be here. Adam Cole's great. He's been great since the beginning of the year to now. He, had that series of matches with Johnny Gargano. I will admit that I like the New York match a lot more than the 3 Stages of Hell, 2 out of 3 Falls match, whatever the hell you want to call it, at TakeOver 25. But he's had great matches ever since. TV matches, TakeOver matches, performances in War Games. The career month that he had in November, basically, showing up on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all while having, the broken hand and stuff like that, or broken wrist, or busted wrist. He's just been working so incredibly hard, it's impossible not to root for the guy. And he's so good that, as good of a heel as he is, if he's not babyface by sometime next year, I will be absolutely amazed. Because he's great. Now, we move on to number 4, Jon Moxley. From WWE, just a bit, in April, very beginning of May, to showing up at AEW, Double or Nothing, to showing up in New Japan, taking the U.S. title from Juice Robinson, unfortunately, due to the typhoon, the disaster, the natural disaster, whatever you want to call it, that hit Japan. He could not get there in time to defend his championship against Juice Robinson, and probably would have been a blow-off, so he was stripped of it. His run in New Japan in the G1, that kind of stuff was great. His partnership with Shota Umino, his run in AEW, attacking Jericho, attacking the ref, attacking Kenny Omega. And from there, even with that health scare of him having, that elbow injury, the staph infection, having to get that taken care of, that was scary. He's had a career 6 months. He really has. I mean, it sounds cliche, but he really has. And it's been great to see him motivated again. I don't blame him for wanting to leave WWE. They weren't going to draw with him. He wasn't going to draw with them. Money-wise, that would have been about the only reason to stay. He's been better since leaving, and he seems to be happier. And there's something to be said about that. Some people are happy in WWE. He wasn't. It's okay. But Mox has been great in AEW New Japan. Hopefully we get to see him at Wrestle Kingdom. I would love to see him at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if he will be, but it'd be great to see. Maybe him against Juice Robinson. Who the hell knows? Him, Juice Robinson, and Lance Archer. Make it a 3-way. You need matches to fill out that card. Anyway, number 3, Tomohiro Ishii. I'm always going to put Ishii in the top 5 because I can't not focus on a match that he's in, because as hard-head and as hard-hitting as that guy is, the forearms he'll hit, just the vertical drop brainbuster, the kicks, the sliding clotheslines, just his willingness to take punishment just to give some back it's just mind-blowing. And it's great to see no matter who he competes against, whether it's Taichi, Goto, Shingo, Minoru Suzuki, doesn't matter who he competes, Kenta. He got a decently watchable match out of Kenta at New Japan Royal Quest. Feed issues aside, but that's okay. That's not Ishii's fault. Tomohiro is absolutely great. Again, always going to put him in my top 5 no matter what, until he retires. At least for the next few years. Now, if he gets to where he slows down and he's only part-time, okay, maybe he'll dip out of there, but as long as he's full-time, I always love watching Ishii. And number 2, and many are going to be surprised by this, Will Ospreay. I know many are going to be surprised by this. And there are reasons why. I'm not the biggest fan of the high-flying, flippy shit style and everything and all that. And yeah, you could say with Ricochet, where's Ricochet? Well, Ricochet could be back in the honorable mentions if he wants. As great as Ricochet is, as great as AJ Styles is. It's a loaded year for wrestling. Will Ospreay, though, it's been the year of Will Ospreay. He won the Never Openweight Championship against Kota Ibushi. He defended it once. He lost it to Jeff Cobb at G1 Supercard. Had a great run at Best Super Juniors. Gave Shingo his first pinfall loss since coming to New Japan. Beat Dragon Lee. Is the current IWGP junior heavyweight champion, had a run in the G1, and is now going to be challenged by Hiromu Takahashi for the junior heavyweight championship on January 4th. Oh, and he had a great match against Amazing Red that I was able to see live, and dear God, what is 2019? Yes, Will Ospreay is my number 2 wrestler. And I think a lot of people might be surprised by that. Please let me know in the comments if you guys were surprised. But number 1, Kazuchika Okada. Little Kazu. How in the world could Okada not be number 1? At least for people to watch New Japan. If you don't watch New Japan, you're not familiar with Okada's work, that's fine. Okada deserves to be on anyone's top 5, in my personal opinion. A lot of people may think that a lot of what he does is formulaic. Yes, a lot of wrestlers do stuff that's formulaic, but he always finds a way to vary it up and make it interesting, and he is the star. He is the crown jewel of, certainly not Chase Owens. He is the crown jewel of New Japan. Tanahashi was, and you can tell Tanahashi and Okada have a mutual respect for each other, even if there's a little bit of tension. Tana was a great crown jewel, the ace of New Japan, and still is the ace of New Japan. But Okada is the guy. He is the guy that the company is built around. Even if he's not the champion, he's the guy the company is built around. And with good reason. Because he brought business up. He wasn't the sole reason, but he was a big reason why. And I could watch any of Okada's matches and not get tired of him. His matches with Sonata that I mentioned earlier. His match against Jay White at G1 Supercard, where he won the championship back. And then the Jay White's not very good IWGP Heavyweight Championship run. No fault of Jay White, but it just wasn't working. Okada has had great runs with the championship, and he's always been treated like a top talent, as he should be. But he's also found a way to make his opponents look good. He made Kenny Omega look better than Omega's ever looked since. And I'm going to stick by that. But anyway, that's going to be the end of that. So that's the end of my list. The women's list will be up a little bit later, sometime after this. But let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Jon Ritland. I'll see you soon.